1. A majestic palace corridor with polished marble floors reflecting golden torchlight. A king with a heavy crown walking in a false peace, subtle tension in the air, deep shadows lurking in corners, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16-9. 2. A royal feast hall filled with guests. A king sitting confidently on his throne beside his admired wife, an invisible vibration of unease distorting the air. Warm golden tones contrasting with cold dark corners. Oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16-9. 3. The arrival of foreign princes at the palace gates. Intricate armor and regal robes. A deceptive atmosphere of alliance. The sky turning slightly ominous. Heavy texture. Oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16-9. 4. A close-up of destiny personified as a shadowy figure entering a grand banquet hall, a subtle smile on its face, unobserved by the celebrating royals, dramatic lighting emphasizing the threat, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, UECR 16.9. 5. The interior of a Spartan palace, gold and order on the surface but a trembling tension underneath, priests looking anxious in the background, high contrast between light and dark, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, ER 16-9. 6. Two princes standing together, the elder one looking stoic and soldier-like, the younger one looking soft and carefree, elaborate ancient robes, soft lighting on their faces against a dark background, oil paintings, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, Omar 16-9. 7. A young prince speaking of friendship with a charming smile, but his eyes wandering distractedly, a luxurious banquet setting, focus on the longing in his gaze, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, 16-9. 8. The moment a young prince locks eyes with the beautiful queen, time suspended, everything else in the room blurred into darkness. A beam of light connecting their gazes, intense romantic tension, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16-9. 9. A silent recognition between a man and a woman who should be enemies. The air thick with forbidden emotion, low candlelight creating deep shadows on their faces. Oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16-9. 10. The sealing of a tragic fate through a shared look of love and madness. The elder brother in the background looking concerned, dramatic composition, rich colors, oil painting, a Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16-9. 11. The most beautiful woman in the world, her face a living myth, looking into a mirror that reflects the desires of kingdoms, melancholic expression, soft divine light, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16-9. 12. A beautiful queen surrounded by shadows, gods fighting for her favor in the ethereal background, her beauty depicted as a burden rather than a gift, a dramatic contrast, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16-9. 13. The queen looking at the young prince, seeing him not as a man but as an escape route, a desperate hope in her eyes, tearing away from royal obligations, oil paintings, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16-9. 14. A shared gaze between the queen and the prince where reason collapses, instinct taking over, the background dissolving into chaotic brushstrokes, intense emotional atmosphere, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, 16-9. 15. Close-up of a woman's face, realizing her beauty brings disorder. A mix of fear and liberation as she looks at her lover, deep shadows sculpting her features, oil paintings, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16-9. 16. A silent flight in the dead of night, two figures boarding a ship, cloaked in darkness, the sea shimmering under moonlight, a sense of irreversible action, oil painting, baroque style, dramatique chiaroscuro lighting, et al 16, 17, the elder brother arguing with the younger prince on the ship's deck, pleading gestures pointing back at the receding shore, at dramatic lighting from a lantern, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, are 16, 9, 18, the younger prince standing defiant on the ship, wind blowing his hair, rejecting the warnings of war, the queen standing beside him looking at the horizon, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, are 16, 9, 19, the Aegean Sea opening up before a ship like a trap disguised as a promise, sails billowing violently, dark stormy clouds gathering above, the dramatic seascape, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, are 16, 9. 20. The chaos of sails and ropes, the fate of thousands being decided in a single moment of departure, the ship cutting through dark waves, ominous atmosphere, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, are 16, 9. 21. A king standing before an empty bed, absolute silence, no screaming, just a heavy atmosphere of betrayal, single light source illuminating his grief, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, are 16, 9. 22, a humiliated king holding an abandoned crown, his face shadowed, dignity stripped away, a dark and oppressive royal chamber, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, are 16, 9. 23, the meeting of two brother kings, one seeking vengeance, the other with eyes full of ambition, a map of the world on the table between them, dramatic chiaroscuro, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, are 16, 9. 24, the ambitious high king plotting in the shadows, seeing the opportunity for empire, a cold and calculating expression, candlelight flickering, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, are 16, 9. 25, contrast between a grieving husband and a power-hungry ruler, the desire to conquer the world rising from a personal tragedy, heavy velvet textures, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, are 16, 9. 26. A powerful king addressing a gathering of rulers, using a moral pretext for war, dramatic gestures, heavy shadows obscuring his true intent, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, are 16, 9. 27. Ports filling with warships, rowers preparing, forges burning bright in the night, the machinery of war awakening, high contrast firelight, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, are 16, 9. 28. The sea covered in white sails, a massive fleet assembling, the sun reflecting off bronze shields, a sense of overwhelming power, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, are 16, 9. 29. Blacksmiths working in dark forges, sparks flying, faces illuminated by the fire, creating weapons for a noble cause that is actually a conquest, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, are 16, 30. A wide shot of the gathered kings, glory and justice promised, but the atmosphere suggests greed and power, storm clouds brewing, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, are 16, 9. 31, a legendary warrior standing apart from the others, son of the sea, glowing with a subtle divine aura, invincible stance, dramatic lighting highlighting his musculature, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, CR 16:9. 32, the warrior sitting in his tent, looking at his armor, fighting not for a king but for his own legend, deep introspection, dark background, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, are 16:9. 33, emissaries entering the warrior's tent, offering immortality through memory rather than gold, the warrior listening intently, shadows dancing on the tent walls, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, 16:9. 34, the warrior accepting his fate, choosing a short life of glory over a long life of obscurity, a determined look in his eyes, dramatic side lighting, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. 35, a close-up of the hero's face, fear of oblivion visible in his eyes, the weight of his choice pressing down, Rembrandt-style lighting, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. 36, an old king in a foreign city receiving the bad news, a mix of stupor and resignation on his face, ornate oriental robes, somber atmosphere, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. 37, the elder prince pleading with his father, the king, desperate gestures to return the woman, the old king looking conflicted, heavy shadows in the throne room, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. 38, the moment of decision in the royal council, choosing honor over survival, the weight of the crown pressing on the old king, dark moody colors, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. 39, the city walls of the besieged city, the sun setting, a sense of impending doom invited by their own choice, dramatic landscape, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. 40, the conflict between the honor of a people and the prudence of their leaders, faces hidden in shadow, the decision to keep the woman sealing their fate, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. 41, the ocean filled with the greatest army ever seen, 1,000 ships stretching to the horizon, banners fluttering ominously, sun glinting on waves, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. 42, figureheads of God carved on ship prows, staring blankly at the water, menacing and divine, sea spray and mist, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. 43, soldiers on the decks of ships, grim faces, knowing that gods are just names for human thirst, heavy atmosphere of dread and anticipation, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. 44, history descending from the sky to the earth, the transition from myth to reality, flesh and fire, a fleet approaching land, dramatic stormy sky, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. 45, a wide panoramic view of the invasion force, threatening divine light breaking through clouds, the sea looking like liquid metal, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. 46, the Greek fleet leaving the port, winds blowing fiercely, the world holding its breath, sails strained to the breaking point, dramatic seascape, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. 47, men chanting and drums beating on the ships, rhythmic movement of oars, sweat and muscle tear, the energy of war building up, dark and gritty texture, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. 48, the distant silhouette of the walled city appearing on the horizon, crowned with fortifications, looming out of the mist, ominous and grand, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. 49, the narrow distance between a woman's beauty and the ruin of a continent, represented by a storm at sea, lightning striking near the ships, chaotic composition, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. 50, the prow of the lead ship cutting through the water, love opening the way for war to finish it, a dramatic visual metaphor of destruction approaching, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. The sun rising over a horizon of Greek ships advancing like moving walls, the sea foaming under thousands of oars, the dawn light casting long dramatic shadows. Oil painting, c'est baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting. R16, a mighty warrior standing on the prow of a lead ship, staring at the coastline with a gaze devoid of faith or hate, wind whipping his hem. Heavy atmosphere of impending doom, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, year 16:9. The moment troops touch the sand, the beach instantly staining red with the blood of the first clash. Chaotic composition of bodies and shield, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, 16:9. A warrior viewing the battle not as a crusade but as a test of strength, cutting through the chaos with brutal efficiency, dark storm clouds gathering above, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. The beginning of a long siege, soldiers digging in on the beach, the walls of the city looming in the distance, a somber and heavy mood, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. A brutal shock on the shoreline, defenders overwhelmed by a disciplined tide of invaders, splashes of water and blood, high contrast action scene, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, year 16:9. The greatest warrior breaking enemy lines like a god among mortals, his armor gleaming amidst the dust and gore, his followers moving in stony silence behind him, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. Sanctuaries being pillaged in the background, temples engulfed in flames, soldiers carrying off gold and cattle, the chaos of looting illuminated by firelight, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. A scene of destruction and conquest, smoke rising thick and black against the sky, the warrior standing amidst the ruin confirming his power, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. The warrior ordering the seizure of spoils, looking at the destruction with a cold sense of ownership, deep shadows and bright firelight, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. The High King stepping onto the beach after the victory, escorted by guards, a satisfied smile on his face as he surveys the carnage, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. A visual fracture between the High King and the greatest warrior, standing apart, one commanding authority, the other radiating destiny, tension in their postures, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. The High King demanding a beautiful captive priestess, his face twisted with greed and entitlement, pointing an accusing finger, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. The warrior refusing the king's demand, hand on his sword hilt, a look of insulted honor, the air thick with conflict between two powerful men, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. Close-up of the warrior's face, eyes burning with rage at the theft of his prize, the insult weighing heavier than gold, dramatic side lighting, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. Inside a royal tent, voices raised in anger, swords half drawn, the flickering candlelight casting monstrous shadows of the arguing leaders, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. Soldiers outside the tent listening fearfully, realizing the danger comes from within their own ranks. A divided camp, gloomy atmosphere, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. The warrior storming out of the camp, turning his back on the army, a silhouette against the twilight, leaving the king alone in his fury, oil painting, baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16:9. The High King, sitting alone, consumed by pride and anger, unknowingly condemning his own army, heavy velvet curtains creating a claustrophobic feel, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting are 16:9, the Greek camp divided and doubtful, the gods silent in the heavens, troops huddled around fires looking demoralized without their champion, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting are 16:9. The old king of the city holding a council in a dim chamber, faces of advisors half hidden in shadow, panic and resignation in the air, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, are 16:9, the eldest prince standing firm, choosing war to protect his people, a look of weary duty on his face, contrasting with the panic around him, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting are 16:9. The younger prince looking out a window, lost in illusions, believing love will save him, soft dreamlike lighting on his face while the city prepares for war, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting are 16:9. Archers lining the city ramparts, tense and ready, bows drawn, looking down at the besieging army, dramatic perspective from below, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting are 16:9. Women in the city streets weaving shrouds, sorrowful expressions, the atmosphere heavy with the anticipation of death, deep dark tones, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting are 16:9. A panoramic view of the siege, huge towers and trenches surrounding the city, catapults silhouetted against the night sky, oil painting, the Baroque styles, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, are nighttime in the war camp, thousands of fires burning like a sea of dead stars, smoke drifting across the field, sense of endless waiting, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting are 16:9, soldiers looking gaunt and sick, the reality of a war of attrition, worn armor and tired faces illuminated by dying embers, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting are 16:9, the beautiful woman imprisoned in the palace, watching smoke rise in the distance, a look of tragic realization on her face, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting are 16:9, close-up of the woman's eyes, reflecting the fires of war, understanding she is the curse of two nations, heavy chiaroscuro emphasizing her isolation, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting are 16:9. Two armies standing apart to watch a duel, a vast empty field in the center, tension palpable, the sun beating down on bronze armor, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, are 16:9. The younger prince in golden armor facing the enraged king, the contrast between delicate beauty and brutal fury, dust swirling around their feet, oil paintings, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting are 16:9. The younger prince falling to his knees, breathless and terrified, his sword dropped, imploring the gods while the king looms over him, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting are 16:9. The elder brother watching in shame, turning his face away from the duel, while the king raises his sword to strike the fatal blow, oil painting, Baroque styled, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting are 16:9. The woman screaming from the city walls, her cry freezing the moment. A look of absolute horror, dramatic lighting focusing on her expression, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting are 16:9. The elder prince leaping between the duelists, pushing the king back, breaking the truce, a chaotic burst of motion, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, the two armies colliding like unleashed beasts, a massive chaotic melee, shields clashing, dust rising to obscure the sun, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting are the sky darkened by a cloud of arrows, death raining down on the soldiers below, a terrifying and majestic composition. Oil painting, Baroque style, dramatique chiaroscuro lighting, archesthetic priests on the ramparts, praying desperately. Looking up at a silent sky, the indifference of the gods contrasted with human suffering. Oil painting, Baroque style, dramatique chiaroscuro lighting, archesthetic 9, the aftermath of the battle, dust settling on piles of bodies, the city surviving but the cost visible in the blood-soaked ground. Oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, archesthetic 9. The elder prince walking alone in the palace alleys at night, head bowed, feeling the hollowness of survival, deep shadows surrounding him. Oil painting, the Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, archesthetic 9. The people acclaiming the prince, but he sees only a mirage, his face grim amidst the celebration, torchlight flickering on his weary features. Oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, archesthetic 9. The Greek king in his tent, consumed by frustration, swearing to destroy the city, his fist pounding a map, dark and moody lighting. Oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, archesthetic 9. The greatest warrior sitting silently by the sea, refusing to fight, staring at the waves, a figure of immense power rendered useless by pride. Oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, archesthetic 9. The wind of fatality blowing through the camp, tents flapping, a sense of inevitable tragedy approaching, dark blue and grey tones, oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, archesthetic 9. A montage of 10 years of siege, seasons changing over a war-torn landscape, armor rusting, walls crumbling. Oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16.9. The gods depicted as distant figures in the clouds, moving men like pawns on a board, indifferent and cold. Oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16.9. Soldiers burying their dead, a repetitive cycle of mourning, the weariness of a decade of war etched on their faces. Oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16.9. The realization that men chose this war alone, leaders looking at each other with no answers, the heavy burden of responsibility. Oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16.9. The two cities, the camp and the fortress, facing each other in a stalemate, exhausted and ruined, reflecting the same fatigue. Oil painting, Baroque style, dramatic chiaroscuro lighting, R16.9.